Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another live class. Today, we are going to be talking about five money mistakes that most people make and how to fix them. Five money mistakes that most people make and how to fix them. If you are just joining me, make sure that you put in the chat box, make sure that you say hi, make sure that you let me know you can hear me, let me know where you are joining me from. I am so excited to talk to you all and to talk about this topic. So I decided to start talking about this topic mainly because of just where we are in the economy. We're about to walk um, into the holidays. And so I thought that this would be a great topic for us to jump into. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And I wanted to start off with a trivia question. So I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to make it minimal so that you all can see the question. Let me know. What do you think the average cost of a combo meal, burger, fries, and a soda at a fast food restaurant will cost you? How much do you think? Is it A, $5 to $10? Is it B, $10 to $20? Or is it C, $20 to $40? I want you to think about that. Put your comments. I see a lot of people are saying B, B, B. I see it. I see it. Think about that. I'm going to give you some answers in a bit. But before we get started, if this is your very first time joining me, hi, I am Elena. I'm a financial coach. I teach people how to organize their life and their money. And I have a YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram. I am on TikTok. I talk all about money and planning. That is my vibe. If you love it, please subscribe. Please like this video. Like I said, we're talking about five money mistakes that most people make and how to fix them. Okay, so back to our question. What's the average cost of a combo meal? A is $5 to $10, B is 10 to 20, C is 20 to 40. I see some B's, I see some A's, I see a lot more B's, and one C. I do see a C in there. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Well, it depends. It really depends on what fast food place you go to. But A is actually not here as much anymore. For the most part, it's B and C, but you do have a little bit of all of it within there. But as y'all can see, it costs $20 to go to Five Guys. On average, this is the average price from 2022. Wendy's is at about $10.25. Jack in the Box, $10.20. Burger King and McDonald's. But look at the price percentage increase, you all, from 2021 to 2022. We are looking at 13%, 18.9%, 15%. Burger King went up 21%. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about inflation. Basically, when I was reading up and doing some research on this topic, I was seeing that inflation has is the highest it's been since 1981. So the hike from year over year hasn't been this bad, hasn't been 13, 15, 21% since 1981. They've not never seen inflation jump this much this soon, right? So what are we learning here? What are we learning? First, that inflation is insane right now. That's the first thing we're learning. And the second thing is that we have to pay attention to our money. We have to pay attention to where we are spending and how we are spending money, because what does it take to blow $10,000 in a year? $27.40 in miscellaneous spending per day. And the average family, the average US family spends or eats out 1 to 3 times every single week. So if we know we are eating out 1 to 3 times every single week, and the average meal is costing us $20 every single time, because that was just one meal. That's just $20 from Five Guys. It's just one combo meal. So once you multiply that with a family of four or a family of three, you are literally looking at hundreds of dollars every single week. And if you do this 3 times a week and you spend all of this money on just fast food, you could blow thousands of dollars very easily. very, very easily. So this is why we are diving into this topic. And this is actually going to bring us into mistake number one, which is not paying attention. When we don't pay attention to those small amounts, when we are just saying, okay, I'm gonna just run out and get fast food, or I'm gonna just run out and go and do this real quick, or it's just $5, it's just $10, it's just $20. This is our top mistake that we are making. We're not paying attention to how much we're spending on a consistent basis, and it is costing us a lot of money. Like I just said, $27.40 a day. You spend that every single day, you have blown $10,000 in 1 year. So you could either save $27.40 a day, or you could spend it. And so it is so easy for us to spend and lose track of how much we're spending on a consistent basis. And what are the main culprits of this miscellaneous spending? Our subscriptions. We don't pay attention to our subscriptions at all. $10 here, $5 here, our phone subscriptions, our subscriptions that we have on our television, all of those little amounts, $10, $15, $20, $37, they are costing us the most. So make sure you're paying attention to your subscriptions and review them every 30 days. I like to look at my budget every single month. And during my process, I'm going to just quickly review all of the subscriptions that have come out of my account. Another thing that I like to do, if you like to keep track of all of your subscriptions at the same time, is you could make them all due on one particular day, or have them come out of a credit card. So then that way you can kind of see them all, having them all come out around the same time. So then that way you know exactly how much you're spending in total. But those subscriptions will definitely kill you. They will eat every little cent. They eat small amounts. Restaurant spending and coffee spending, those little things will definitely eat up your money. Gym memberships that you do not use. Same thing with subscriptions. Subscriptions that you don't use, gym memberships that you don't use. Both of those are really eating away at your money. Apps on your phone. Sometimes we are not paying attention to the apps and the different things that are costing us money on our phone, and paying for convenience. So things like Uber Eats, the additional fees on top of that $10, $20 meal from Five Guys is paying to have that meal delivered to you, is going to cost you even more. We're talking about $15 on top of the 20. So now you've paid $35 for a burger, fries, and a drink, which is insane. But that is what it is costing us on average nowadays because of inflation, and we have to pay attention to those things. And credit card interest, not paying attention to how much your credit card interest could be costing you hundreds of dollars every single year or every single month. So we really need to be paying attention to this too. So all of those are different things. That's our mistake number one, is not paying attention to the small amounts. Mistake number two is you don't budget for fun. You are not budgeting for fun. You are budgeting just for the things that you have to do. You're just kind of looking at your budget and you're trying to see, okay, I need to make sure that I have my bills paid and that I have this set aside and that set aside, but you're not thinking about all of the other fun things that you want to do. Look at the statistics. Look at this statistic. 73% of people do not budget because they see it as restrictive. They believe it's super restrictive, and they think that it's going to take away from what they are trying to do, the fun that they are trying to have. But if you don't budget for fun, if you don't look at what you are spending and the things that you want, you don't think about what else you want to do that's fun, you're not going to be able to open your eyes. Budgeting can actually help you to open to all of the things that you want to do, like traveling and your personal spending and all of the fun that you want to have. You just have to add it into your budget. And this is why I believe 73% of people aren't doing it. It's because they feel like it's not going to be fun, and so they don't want to do it. But if you add fun into your budget, you'll be more likely, you're actually going to be excited, more excited to actually start to budget and do more budgeting. I'm going to answer questions as you go along. Make sure that you use Hashtag Q if you do have a question, and put it in the comments. Do you consider Instacart an expense for convenience if you use it constantly and it opens time up for other productive tasks? I don't consider, actually, here's the thing. It could be a convenience expense. That's definitely the case. However, I am not saying that you should not do these things. I only say that you shouldn't do it if you're not paying attention and it's not included in your budget. So if you do it, as long as it's included in your budget and it is something that you consider something that you absolutely need that's going to help you, then keep it there. I would never say don't add something into your budget just because it is an extra expense. My point is always to tell you just to make sure that it's there so that it doesn't catch you off guard. So many times when it comes to those subscriptions and those, like when I say a gym membership, I specifically said a gym membership that you don't use, subscriptions that you don't use, paying for convenience when it's not added into your budget. So Instacart is not the issue. Even Uber Eats and all of those are not the issue. The challenge is that we are paying for these things and it's not in our budget. We aren't thinking about the things that we need and the fun stuff that we need to add into our budget. So I do have a bunch of personal expenses that are actually in my budget. I have eating out in my budget where I will list out, okay, I know we're going to eat out twice this week. So even fast food is not the enemy. If you want to eat out and you want to go to restaurants and my point is to make sure it's actually in your budget. That's the goal. The goal is not to take out your fun. The goal is to make sure that fun is included and it's not just catching your budget off guard and throwing off your budget immediately. And this is why 73% of people don't do it, because they feel like, oh, I can't use Instacart and I can't add the gym and I can't have these subscriptions and I can't travel and I can't. And putting all of those restrictive rules on ourselves makes us not want to do it at all. And that's our struggle. That's the main struggle that we have. So as long as it's in your budget, 100%, I'm all for it. Definitely do it. Yeah, thank you. It's definitely in my budget. Yes. And since it's something that you use consistently and it's something that it's in your budget and it's something that you absolutely need and it helps you to be more productive. It helps you to get things done. It helps you with managing your family and your sanity. Keep it, girl. Keep it in the budget. We want it in the budget because it helps us to live our lives consistently. The issue is that most of us have a bunch of things like subscriptions and things in our budget that we aren't using, we aren't paying attention to it, and we don't even realize it's there. And so we have to pay attention to those things and just make sure, am I actually using this? Is this actually productive, or is it adding to my life? If it's not, get rid of it. If it is, keep it and just make sure it's actually in our budget. The second, when we are thinking about how we are budgeting for fun, the first thing that we got to do is decide on your top spending categories. You have to decide, okay, if I'm budgeting for fun, what's the top thing that you love to do for fun? So I'm going to name mine. Mine is restaurants. I love to eat out. I love to eat out. Me and my family will go and eat out probably once a week. Sometimes we will be a little bit more restrictive, but really we do love to eat out at a restaurant. Like every Saturday or so, we will pick a restaurant and go. And it is included in our budget. I will add $100 every single week into our budget just for some type of splurge for us to be able to go out and eat. And if you love restaurants, then that could be possibly your top spending area. A majority of people, it is food. But if shopping is your top area, then that is your top area and you should add that. Or it could be personal expenses like beauty, nails, getting your hair done. The main thing you need to do here is just decide on what's your top area. Now, here's the problem. Most of us do not like to choose. Most of us don't want to choose between restaurants, shopping, personal expenses. We don't want to have to select which one we want the most. But let's talk about why we definitely need to choose on which one we want to have or what is our top priority. I'm going to go into a quick story. Here is why we need to pick our top category, because when we don't decide, when we don't decide if which one we want the most, when we don't decide what if we want to spend our money on restaurants, shopping, or personal, it is a slippery slope. We end up spending too much money, or we end up looking at social media and we ended up kind of going back and forth between different things. Now I want this, and now I want that, and now I want this. And so you end up spending way too much money. And I want to tell you about this famous French philosopher. His name was Denis Diderot. If you've heard me talk about him before, I have talked about his story in the past. And he was a, a French philosopher who spent his entire life in poverty. He spent his entire life in poverty, but that changed once his daughter was about to get married. His daughter was about to get married. He couldn't pay for her wedding. He couldn't pay for the dowry. So he was just saying, okay, what am I going to do? My daughter wants to get married, but I can't afford. And back at that time, you had to be able to pay for it. Well, he was known for writing encyclopedias. That is what he did. And when Catherine the Great, who was the Empress of Russia at that time, heard about his situation, she heard about him not being able to pay for his daughter's wedding, and she loved his encyclopedias. So she said, you know what? I'm going to purchase your library of encyclopedias because I love them for $50,000, which is US dollars today, which is an insane amount of money back then. But she was like, I'm going to purchase them for you. So now you have enough money to pay for your daughter's wedding, and you have money to spare, because this was a lot of money at that time. So now Denis Diderot, he is excited. He is over the moon. He is able to pay for his daughter's wedding. So after he comes into this new money, he has his money, he decided that he needed to purchase a robe. And he wanted to purchase this new scarlet robe, and it was beautiful, and he was excited. So now he's paid for his daughter's wedding and he's purchased this robe. But after he purchased the robe, he started to feel like everything else in his house looked out of place, because remember, he's from poverty. Everything around him was basically beaten up and worn down. And so now he's looking at all of the things that's around him. He does not like the things that's around him. So he needs to start purchasing new things. He has his new robe. That's beautiful. He replaces his rug with a new one from Damascus, because he's like, I need to buy a new rug. He starts to buy sculptures, a kitchen table, a mirror above his mantle. And he purchased so much that he ends up back in debt. He purchased so many different things after he bought this robe and after he paid for his daughter's wedding, that now he is back where he started. He's back in poverty. He's back where he started. And he was quoted as saying this: I was an absolute master of my old robe, and I have become the slave of my new one. So basically, he realized that he is back into poverty mainly because of his mindset, of his slave like mindset, and how he could not gather his mind to prioritize what was actually important to him. And his story became so well known that now we call reactive purchases the Diderot effect, based off of him. And this is when we buy one thing and then we feel the need to buy more things. So this is when you get the new car and then you want a new mat to match the car. You need an umbrella for your car because you buy an outfit and now you need a purse and you need shoes because you want all of the newness you need new to match the new thing that you just got. Now, before you made the original purchase, before you bought that first thing, before you bought the outfit, you were not worried about new shoes or new purse. You weren't even thinking about new shoes and a purse. But now that you have purchased the outfit, now I am thinking about the additional things that I want to go with my outfit. And that mindset, those were active purchases, buying additional things to go with the thing that you just got, is now called the Diderot effect. So anytime this happens to you, and you are in the mall and you are just kind of getting happy, you're excited, you're shopping, stop. Take a moment, take a breather, sit down, take a break, because it's a trigger. It is something that is causing you to go into this reactive purchases, which is what we call the Diderot effect. And it is an emotion that we tie to getting happy. And actually, Tia, it's 100% right. He got money happy. And this is what happens to us. We will get money happy, we will get excited, and then we start to buy multiple things, thing after thing after thing, because we feel like, oh, this is going to make me, I'm going to look so good in this complete outfit. When in reality, the thing that we already had, the shoes that you already have, probably were going to be fine. They probably would match the outfit perfectly. You already have a purse that's going to match the outfit perfectly. But in your mind, you start to think about all of the additional things that you want to get, because you believe it's going to like complete the outfit, or it's going to complete the look. But we will get money happy. And when this happens, because we don't prioritize. And so back to my original point, we have to prioritize what is the most important thing to us. So for me, if clothing is it, then let it be the clothing and you buy the piece of clothing. But the minute that you start to think about shoes and a purse and all of these additional things, just pause and just think, do I have anything that I could use and match with this particular outfit before I buy something else? Do I have it? Because more than likely you do. Because most of us kind of wear the same colors. We are wearing the same type of clothes. We usually have a particular style that we are connected to. So more than likely, you don't need the additional purchases that you're thinking that you absolutely need. So prioritize what's important to you. Is it restaurants? I told y'all mine. It's restaurants. It could be shopping for you. It could be beauty purchases. You definitely want to think about what that thing is for you. The third mistake is making unplanned purchases. Making those unplanned purchases. This is impulsive purchases. This is, I needed something to pick up my spirits. So I ran to Target or I ran to the mall and then I spent $300 impulsively. This is a huge mistake, and we do it all the time, where we're trying to create some type of emotional attachment to something that's probably already happened, and we're trying to make ourselves feel better. And so, why do we overspend? Usually it's tied to some type of emotion. Here are the 4 emotions that most people will kind of connect with when it comes to money. The first one, we're looking for happiness. We are looking for happiness. We take things that we need to survive for granted. We take it for granted. We don't even think about what we need to survive. So we don't look at those things as making us happy. So we start to think that we need additional things that's going to make us happy. We don't think about the food or electricity or the house we live in or the car. We think, oh, well, I need something else, because all of those stuff, I need those things, but I need something else that's going to pick up my spirit. And you're looking for happiness. And so you end up overspending and spending on money. Another reason you overspend, you are bored. You are bored. That late night scrolling in the bed, looking on Amazon, looking on Instagram, looking on TikTok. Now you just happen to want this thing that you saw in TikTok shop, even though you had never even planned on buying anything, but you're bored. And so now you kind of, something caught your attention, and then you buy it. The third reason is you are looking for security. You are looking for something to make you feel more confident, more secure, more able to handle the economy. This could be a house that you feel like is going to make you feel secure. It's a car that's going to make you feel secure. This is going to make me feel confident. I'm going to feel amazing. Once I have this, then I know that I'm going to feel better about life, about where I am in general. And the fourth reason is to impress other people. Impress other people. We're hoping that people want to see us and they want to pay attention to us and they like what we have and they want us to be like impressed with it. But to be honest, I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. And I'm sorry if you're feeling attacked, Jennifer, but I really, really want us, I'm hoping that we improve in this area. People aren't paying attention to us. Most people aren't paying attention to us. And I hate to tell that to you all. But when you buy something and you are hoping that someone else notices it, they don't. And let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. Have you ever seen somebody in a really, really nice car? Let's see, you see them drive off and they have a Bentley and you are like, oh, look at the Bentley. That is so nice. Like, look at that car. That's a beautiful car. Let me ask you this. Are you looking at the car or the driver? More than likely, you are looking at the car. You are looking at that car and you are thinking in your mind as you're looking at that car, oh, I will look so nice in that car. That car would be so pretty if I was driving it. You imagine yourself behind the wheel of the car. You probably aren't even paying attention to who's driving the car because you don't care. All you care about is the actual car itself, not what the person is, what they do. You're not impressed by them because you don't care about them. You just want to be the person in the actual car, which shows you and will kind of reveal to you, I'm not thinking about, well, maybe if you're looking at him, if it's a man, okay, if it, I feel that. I feel that. If you're not married and stuff like you might be looking at the guy. But for the most part, most of us are like impressed with the thing itself and not the person. If it's a really, really nice purse, you're like, man, I want that bag. I love that bag. I want to buy that bag, but not, oh my goodness, she must be, I'm so impressed with her, or she must be so, like most of us, like that's what we teach, that we're like so impressed with the person. But in reality, most of us aren't even paying attention to the person. We're looking at the thing and then we just want that thing. We just want that thing. And so we are trying to recreate the emotion that comes with the thing. And we're hoping that if we get that, then we're able to feel what they feel because they have that thing. And so we have to stop this. We have to stop this. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. So let's talk about, how do we stop? How do we stop? I've talked about our money personality before. We have done an entire class on this. I think that was last month's class or month before, but I'm going to link it in the description box after I jump off live. You got to know your money personality. We talked about, there are 5 money personalities. And the more that you know yourself, the more you know, because each one of us were born with a money personality. And if you were born with a money personality, which all of us were, then you got to know which one you are, because that helps you to know how to actually tailor that overspending, that impulsive shopping, and all of that. So you got to learn if you are a saver. Are you a security seeker? Are you a spender? Are you a risk taker? Are you a flyer? And like I said, if you don't know what I am talking about, I am going to link the class where I dived into all of these personalities so that you can know which one you are, because knowing your personality will help you to decide and make way better decisions when it comes to your money. The second thing that you need to know is your triggers. What's triggering you? Is it boredom? Like we talked about, the boredom that could be coming from, that could cause you, it could be a trigger for you and it's causing you to spend money. The mall could be a trigger. The mall is a big trigger for me. I don't go to the mall unless I am very intentionally spending money. And usually that's once a quarter. And the reason why is because I can't window shop. And I know that about myself. I know that I can't window shop, so I don't go. But you got to know it's a trigger for me. And if I see something, I'm going to want it. And we will kind of convince ourselves, no, I can window shop, or I could just go with my friends, or I could just do this and it'll be fine. And then $400 later, you are upset because you have triggered yourself and gotten yourself in a situation where you just couldn't help it and you had to spend money. One of the other reasons is extreme emotions. Sometimes we have extreme emotions. You're really, really, really happy, so you want to celebrate and you go spend some money. You're really, really, really sad. So now I need to pick myself up and I'm going to spend some money. You are like needing one or the other could cause you need to get out of your head those extreme emotions. And sometimes I will tell myself, you know what? Unless I am feeling regular, normal, feeling just having a good day where I can make conscious decisions, then I need to know my triggers, making sure my emotions, extreme emotions could be a trigger. Hunger could even be a trigger. Hunger could be a trigger because if you are really, really hungry, then that can definitely be. So you got to know your triggers and you got to know how to avoid them. Oh, this is a good one. If you're in the planner community, I can't watch all of the planner videos. I can't. Now, sometimes I will get caught up and watch some of them, but I create planners and I still can get caught up and be like, oh, maybe I could get one of those and still use mine that I created myself, because it's so easy to get caught up, and especially when you see all of the different releases coming out and stuff. But we got to find the one that works for us and stick with it. I know my system works for me, and I still get caught up in the new releases and the Hobonichi and the like. I'm like, oh, that looks so pretty. Maybe I could use that and in addition to mine, but I never do. I never use. I always end up going back to my own system. Always. So just knowing these things about yourself, know your money history. I talked about the 4 money houses. That was another class that we did. And so if you are, I'm going to link that class too, the money personality class and the money history class, because both of those classes will help you know more about yourself. What house did you grow up in? Your childhood is the nature part or the nurture part. Your money personality is the nature. So you have to know how you were, the nature, the way that you were born, and you have to know how your history, your childhood, the nurture part, both affects your money. And there are 4 money houses: the unstable, the fearful, the unaware, and the stable money house. And knowing how your childhood affect your money can help you with how you handle it right now. And then the last one is knowing how much you can spend. So many people will pay their bills and then they just start swiping their card. They're not thinking, okay, how much can I actually spend on food? Let me think about what I have left and how much I can divide it up by food, by shopping, by my personal expenses, and thinking about all of the other things that I need to do. All of this has an effect, and you need to know who you are in order to help you with being able to get over this. Now, next week, I'm putting out a video next Tuesday on how to improve your money confidence. And in that video, I give you 6 tips or 6 ways to improve your money confidence. I highly recommend that you watch that video, because that video is going to help you with overall knowing yourself and knowing how you can improve where you are right now. A lot of times I am talking about your mindset. I do talk about budgeting and saving. I really, really do. But I love to talk about mindset probably more than anything, because 80% of what we do with our money has nothing to do with how much we make. How our spending is because of our mind. It's because of the way that we think about money. It's because of our emotions. It's because of how we feel. And we will get triggered very easily when it comes to our overall money. So our money mindset is so important. So make sure that y'all watch that video. It's going to be called the 6 ways to improve your money confidence. And it comes out next Tuesday at the same time, 4 p.m. Central Time. All right. Mistake number 4 is not planning your life. Of course, you know that was going to be on my list, because I talk about planning all the time. And the reason why is because I didn't used to. When I started the Organized Money, I was all about budgeting and saving and just kind of just sticking to the money side of everything. I was just talking about money and talking about the emotions and the money mindset and all of that. But I realized probably within a year in, after working with clients, I was working with clients, I'm setting up budgets, and then I realized their routines were off, or they didn't plan their week, or they didn't realize this expense was going to come up. Something came up with the kids, and them not planning their life was costing them a lot of money. It was costing them a lot of money. And if you don't believe me, 70% of people admitted to making a really big financial mistake during the holidays. And many times we will say, oh, well, it's because they didn't have enough money. No, more than likely, it's because they didn't plan for Christmas. They didn't think about when Christmas was coming and how much they actually needed in order to have money for Christmas. And this happens to 70% of people. And even if we're not just talking about the holidays, which is why I like to do these types of classes around this time, because it's September. So this is your cue. If you haven't started, start saving for Christmas. Let's start right now. Let's save. Let's start that process of saving for Christmas, because this is a time where a lot of people will make a lot of money mistakes because of the emotional side of Christmas, right? We feel like, oh, I got to get this, I got to get that. And I think I'm going to do a class next month on the emotional side of Christmas and the other things that we need to do instead of just putting our financial life in ruins during Christmas time. But we can talk about that later. For now, I just want you to start thinking about Christmas, start putting something aside because it's coming and it catches people off guard every single year. But even if we're talking about outside of Christmas, look at the average, and you can even put in the comments if you have done any of these before. But not planning, not thinking about your budget, not writing things down can cost you a lot of money. Not paying your bill on time, $35 in a late fee. Forgetting to use a gift card before it expires, $5. Do y'all know that gift cards will decrease in value every single year if you don't use it? A lot of them do. Look at the back of that gift card. A lot of them will decrease in value because they know that you are not going to spend it. And then they start to take the money away. And this is money that's just on a gift card. It's basically free money. And they will start to take it down. They will start to take away the amount. Paying for overnight shipping because you didn't plan this particular gift, or you didn't realize that you had to hurry up and get something shipped to you, $15. Going to lunch every day at work, $20. Purchasing a new shirt, and just like you have the same shirt at home. You just forgot that you had it because it was in the back of your closet. That cost you an extra $25. Bank overdraft fees, $12. Ooh, and then I see Jennifer saying that hers was 35. I'm talking about Chase. I know Chase, I want to say they were 12. Now, this was a long time ago. Somebody correct me if they have increased it. But they could have overdraft fees that's $35, $20, bank regular fees, $12. Just for having a monthly account can be $12 because usually they have minimums and all of this stuff. So not planning, not thinking about these little things. I just added up these really quick. If you do one of these every single month, it's costing you $122 every single month just because you didn't plan. Just because you didn't think about, oh, I have to make sure I pay this bill on time. I have to make sure that I use this gift card. Let me think about where we're going out to eat. Let me check my account and just make sure I have enough money, right? We're just not planning consistently, and it's costing us a lot of money. This is why I talk about planning just as much, if not more. I talk a lot about planning on my channel because it has helped me so much with my money, along with controlling my emotions, along with creating a budget, along with my savings plan and all of that. So we got to make sure that we are considering all of these things. The next thing, routines and habits. Having routines and habits can save you so much money. I have a Sunday routine. Y'all know I usually do it with y'all on I post a video every single Sunday called Organizing My Week. And when I do that, I will schedule my work. This is the three sections of my routine. So I will look at my schedule, which is the one I usually do with you all, where I'm looking at where I got to go, what appointments do I have? Will any of these things cost me money? If I'm on my schedule, will any of these things cost me money? The second routine that I look at is my actual money routine. I usually do this one on Tuesdays, and I am getting ready for my Wednesday payday. We usually get paid every single Wednesday, and I'm thinking about what bills do I have to pay? How much money do I have to spend after I'm paying my bills? How much money can I save? How much money can I invest? That's what I'm thinking when I'm doing my money routine. And then I have my home and family routine. The home and family routine is where we start thinking about, what am I eating this week? What do I need to purchase for? Do I need to do anything for the kids? Are the kids in need of anything this week? So all three of these routines are done every single week to make sure that I just stay on top of my money. Now, most people will be like, oh, my work schedule, my other schedule, my life schedule doesn't really affect my money. All of it affects your money. Every single one of these routines will affect your money. If you are not planning and thinking about where you got to go and what's going to cost you money, it is affecting your money because you decided you were going to go out to eat with your friends and you didn't think about how much you were going to spend at that restaurant. You didn't look at the menu. You didn't see how much the average price of the meal cost. And when you got there, everything was so expensive. You just had fun with your friends. You got drinks. You did all of the things. And then when you get the bill, you're like, oh, let me just swipe my card. And then 3 days later is when you start to feel the effect because you forgot about that bill that you have to pay. All of these work together. My schedule is where I kind of figure out what appointments that I have that might cost me money. My money is my actual budget where I'm paying the bills and saving and investing. And my home and family is where I'm looking at what we're eating this week. Do we have to eat out this week? Because sometimes we do. Sometimes we just, based on our schedule, I know I'm not going to have time to cook. We're going to have to eat out this week. Let me add that to my budget. It all works together. Y'all see how it's all kind of connected? It's all working together. So make sure you are planning and you have a routine in place for all three of these areas. And if you don't, once again, I have videos on all three of these routines. I talk about my family planning routine. I have my money routine video up, and I have my weekly video where I talk about my schedule for the week and how I've set everything up. Now, let's talk about Wanda's question really quick. What happens when you plan, but you still fall short on your bills? Well, this is when I like to rearrange different things. There are different things that I used to do when I knew I was going to fall short. First thing is, can I call and reschedule any of the bills? So when I used to fall short, I used to try and see if it was a bill that I could possibly move. Energy, like with us, we have a company called Energy, and I used to reschedule them all the time. Say, hey, look, I know it's due on the 21st. I need an extension. I need to wait a little bit longer. If it's a credit card, many times you can get a grace period. If it's your house note, you can get a grace period. Like there are different bills where if you plan, you can catch it before it affects you right now. You can catch it before it happens. The second thing that I was doing is seeing if I could pay half. I have a video out there. I think it's called the half budgeting payment method or the half budgeting system. But I have a video where I talk about paying half of certain bills in order to extend my money. And so that's the second thing that I would do is pay half of one and then pay the other half when I get paid again, and kind of play with it to see how I can kind of rearrange, because sometimes you have one check that has a lot of money and then you have another check that really doesn't have any. And so you got to kind of move things around. So try and look at both of those videos. I have one on low income, one on half payment budgeting method, and another one on, like, I have to think about which one that I have that's on the third method, which is just trying to make sure that I move my bills. Like I will move them around, but try all of that. If it's, you know what, this check is just, it's not working for this check. Try and see if you can move it. And you possibly can move credit cards, you can move your energy bill, you can move different things around and make your month kind of fit a little bit better. If not, try the half payment budgeting method. And I have an entire video on that one that will really help you. And then the other thing that I would do is trying to get 1 month ahead. Now that takes some time. So you may have to do the other two before you do that third one, but look at my month ahead video where I talk about the getting 1 month ahead and how I did it, because it's a certain saving strategy that I did in order to get 1 month ahead, so that when I had a certain check that was too low, I could pull money from my month ahead account and replace it when I got paid. So those are the three things that kind of help you in that process. All right, let's talk about my next thing, which is putting things on autopilot. Now, putting things on autopilot is, now I do a lot of things on paper. I talk about paper a lot. But there are certain things that I will put on autopilot. One of the top things, I will talk about cash savings. I will talk about my budgeting on paper. But when it comes to investing, I invest using an app. And I talked about this app before, and they actually do sponsor me. I have an affiliate link where they will give you $25 in order to help you get started. But it is called the Stackwell app. I love this app. I really, really do. And I have been working with them since the beginning of the year. And I really started to love them because first, they are super, super simple. The fees are much lower than Fidelity, Vanguard, or anywhere else. So their fees, it's like $1 a month, which is like unheard of. They auto draft from your account and you can do as little as $10 per month. And I'm going to put the link in the comment. I just added it into the comment box. If you want to try them out, I highly recommend that you do, because they invest back into the community, which I love as well. They are a small company, but they invest into the community. I love their mission. I love what they are doing. They provide financial education. So it's not just about making money off of the money that you put into the app. I connect with their mission. It's a part of mine as well, because I love talking about money as well. And when I met with the CEO, whose name is Trevor, when I met with Trevor, he really told me all about all of the different things that they do. And they are really invested in college kids as well. So they help college kids get started with investing as well. And they provide a lot of financial education on the college campuses. They work with a lot of bigger companies who help invest back into the community as well. So I highly, highly recommend that you try them out. This is the one thing that's on autopilot for me though, because investing, I can't do that on paper, right? I need to put money into the app to make it work. Now, you can start with $10, and if that's what your budget, stick with that. Mine is currently $50. And as I pay off credit cards, as I do anything else, I'm going to increase it. It's passive investing. They also kind of walk you through the process of how to set it up. It's super, super simple. Takes you about 10 minutes, but use that link, sign up, tell me what you think. I love it. And I put my money in there every single month. Once again, it's on autopilot. So let's talk about my last one, keeping your budget in your head. If your budget is in your head, you are doing yourself a disservice. So many times we think, oh, if my budget is in my head, I know what I have to pay. I already got it. It's up here. I know I need this bill, that bill, this bill, that bill. I got it. And we don't. We do not have it. We do not have it. And when you have your budget in your head, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're going to forget something. You are going to forget something. You are going to forget something. You have to write it down. You have to write your numbers down. Use your budget planner. Even if you think you know all of your numbers, even if you have your bills memorized, use your budget planner, because you also need to think about You also need to think about the additional events that are coming up, the random things that are coming up for the kids, the subscriptions that are coming out of the work. You are not thinking about every single thing that you have. And your budget planner will help to remind you of all of the things that you have coming up. And I love mine. It makes it, you're going to be more likely to understand where your money is going, how much you spent, and you are more likely to remember, right? Because I can pull out my budget from last September and see how much I spent from last September to this September. And especially with December, if you are trying to save for Christmas, how much did you spend last year? Because that's going to help you in order to plan for this year. It's going to reduce your stress and it's going to help you to improve your focus. So if you do not have a budget planner, please, please, please consider getting one. Do not keep that budget in your head. You are more likely to forget. You think that you know everything. And here's the thing, you could be paying all of your bills. You definitely could. But for the most part, even though you're paying all of your bills, you are not planning ahead. You are not thinking about the little things that are costing you money. And you're also not planning for those events, thinking about the $100 that's going to the restaurant, or when you need to go and get your hair done or your nails done and how much that's going to cost you. And when your kid needs money for a field trip, you're not planning for all of that. But if you have your budget planner and that field trip is written in and on the calendar part, and you know that field trip is coming up, then you're more likely, I will write it in my planner. Ooh, on the 15th, I know that Alyssa Jade needs $20 for this field trip. Write it down. And then when I'm planning my budget, I do have my bills, but automatically my budget planner is reminding me, oh, don't forget that field trip is coming up and you need to add it to your budget as well. All right. So make sure that you have to write everything down. I see you, Wendy. Yes, you have to use that budget planner, but make sure if you put it in a money routine and you do it every single Sunday, it's going to help you to consistently kind of stay on top of your money. It really, really, really will. So make sure that you start to write things down. And that is my 5th tip. So before we jump off, I think we got like 8 more minutes. Let me know if you have any other questions. Like I said, next week, I am going to be talking about the 6 ways to help you to improve your money confidence. Because like I said, money is emotional. It's super, super, super emotional. And so we have to know how to control our emotions in order to know how to control our money. And make sure that you try Stackwell out. I absolutely love the app. Y'all know I don't bring many sponsors to you all. If you really, really pay attention to my channel, I don't really talk that much about sponsors, and that is on purpose. That is definitely on purpose because I have to really believe in an app or in a company in order to do it. Like I really just do. I have to actually like really use the app. Like my next 2, I think I have 1 more that's kind of coming up, and I genuinely like use every single thing that I bring to you. And if I kind of stop using it, I will usually stop talking about it. Even with Capital, I think I talked about Capital, which is the savings app that I use. I think I first brought that to y'all probably like 4 years ago, and I still use it. I still use Capital for savings. I still use Stackwell for investing. Even with my cash envelopes, I still use all of the things that I talk about. So it's very rare that I bring you all sponsors because I know I have to use it. So definitely have to try Stackwell. Okay, let me see if I can answer some of your questions. And if y'all have any questions about Stackwell or Capital or any of the other sponsors that I've talked about, definitely let me know. All right. I always forget something. Also, do you know anything about Primerica? So Primerica is life insurance. As long as it's term life insurance, usually I am good with it. Compare their rates, always look around. However, I have had life insurance through them and I have not had any issues. So I would just definitely say do your due diligence. Like make sure you're looking at the policy, make sure that, I know sometimes they will automatically increase every year. So just check that out. Make sure that it is aligned with how much you actually need. Read it through thoroughly, but I don't have any problems with it. I have used it and I have a lot of friends who have used it and they have had no issues with Primerica. Good book with to begin budgeting. Well, if you're talking about a budget planner, I have a good one. I love mine. But if you're talking about like beginning budgeting itself, like the budgeting process, I also have a class called How to Like Budget on Paper. If you are using my budget planner, I always recommend the class because sometimes you need, and I have an entire playlist on YouTube as well. So even if you don't want to get the class, you can definitely look at the budget planning videos that I have on YouTube, because I just believe you can get a book, but I believe videos are more helpful. I really do believe videos are more helpful. Yeah. So definitely check out my videos to see how they kind of coincide with the process, because I think that they will help you on there as well. I have your budget planner and I love it already. Oh, wonderful. Considering, please think if you, now here's the thing. I love my entire system because like I said, I believe money is connected to all of it. So the Tom 90 planner that I sell, the sections that I just talked about, my schedule is one section. I have a personal, I have a work planner, and I have my budget planner and my faith planner. But all of them are in that one book. And this one book helps me to organize my entire life because I can see what I have coming up with my personal life in my home. I can see what's coming up with work. And if any of it's costing me money, I can also add it into my budget planner, and I'm carrying it with me. It's all in one spot. And I absolutely love that. I do know people who like to have separate books. And if that works for you, that is great. I like to have it all together because I know I'm just going to want to be able to flip and be able to easily see anything that's going on in my life in this one spot. And it's one spot to organize your entire life. All right. And I think that was our last question. So thank you all so much for joining me. Remember, next week I have a video coming out talking about 6 ways to help increase your money confidence. And make sure y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really does help me and it helps my channel. It supports my channel. And y'all make sure that y'all check out Stackwell. I have the link in the description box and I also put it in the chat. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and I will see y'all in my next live. We won't be live next week, but we will be live the week after that. All right. Bye guys. Have a good one. See y'all later.